Hey guys, Dov here. No unit highlight today, just wanted to bring you a classic battle between myself and Turin and talk about some of the changes that are being made here. So, Empire versus Wood Elves. Let's quickly go over the builds here. VOLKMAR the Grim, bunch of state troops. We've got some archers, Demogryph Knights, along with the Warrior Priest, some Pistoliers, of course. And then this piece right here, which you'll notice that the rockets are currently passing through this tree. The Hellstorm Rocket, ROR, the Sunmaker. Now, keep in mind, guys, that since you guys have made your voices loud and clear, been heard by Creative Assembly, they have changed the sort of projectile, pass-through trees rule, whatever you want to call it, so that it no longer affects artillery. So this is actually being played before that update went live. So you will see, I was just testing this out in this replay to see how it would work. And it did work, and it was cause for concern for enough people that Creative Assembly decided to make this rule no longer to apply to artillery, so you won't be seeing this in the live patch when it goes live. But just be aware that this Sunmaker is shooting through these trees right now, which it will not later. Anyway, just wanted to make sure you all are aware of that. We've got a bunch of Dryads, Deepwood Scouts, Orion, Blade Riders with Spears, Lost Sylvan Knights, Enigmas of Gyren, the Regiment of Renowned Zotes. So let's see how we can do. VOLKMAR long been a terror for the Wood Elves, but now that Orion's mass has somewhat been fixed, he could potentially come in here and actually deal with VOLKMAR and be a direct counter for him. You can see he charges in, gets a nice little side charge there. I'm going to keep all my archers trained on Orion. Probably going to have to get him to his healing cap, so try and do our best there. Sylvan Knights and Zotes just punch straight through the center, blow up the Sigmar Suns, just ransack them, just absolutely demolish them. A little bit of a penumbral pendulum there. I believe I'm going to unleash a burning head as well. Turin's able to mostly dodge that with his Sylvan Knights, which was my primary target there, although they do still take some damage. It's also going to come across and rip through some of my own lines here. It is what it is, typical VOLKMAR shenanigans. Even tags these, yep, just barely tags those Dryads. Nope, maybe not, didn't actually apply the leadership effect. But the Pistoliers just kind of firing in the back line here, taking a defensive position. The Sylvan Knights push through. And they're going to get on the rocket battery here, the Hellstorm Sunmaker. Also, the Warrior Priest kind of tied up a little bit here. Does he deal magic damage in melee? He does not. He does fire damage, in fact, which is interesting. I guess it makes sense for the Bright Wizard. VOLKMAR comes in to drop some magic. Nice rear charge from the Demogryph Knights here. We're going to do a lot of damage to the Zotes and to the Sylvan Knights. Sylvan Knights get that Flesh to Stone from the Zotes, up to 60 armor. Since they're ethereal, they have obviously 0 armor baseline. It is quite helpful for them. They're going to maybe get routed off here. Leadership is very low. The Enigmas of Gyren, keep in mind, Zotes are not immune to psychology. They do deal magic damage and also lower magic resistance, which is actually very good versus VOLKMAR's. When you think about it, he does have, I think, 25% magic resistance, which is what I want to say their ability is. If I can actually look at it here, once that little leadership thing goes away, 40%. Okay, so yeah, 40% magic resistance. Zotes here with that dampening effect, 22% magic resistance. So they can tear away a good amount of it in that the Sylvan Knights, other magic damage units will deal some good damage. But you can see here my Pistoliers kind of getting pressured away. I'm using them a little aggressively, go figure. I mean, I'd never ever do that, right? So I'm trying to keep these Glade Riders corralled as well. Turin's been doing a great job kind of keeping his Glade Riders operating out on the peripheral of the battle, chasing routing units, kind of catching different things. He's going to maybe charge those Spearmen, but nope, looks like he nopes out to try and go after the archers, which is definitely a wise move. Deepwood Scouts, they're prioritizing taking out my Pistoliers. Turin knows, if he can get rid of my mobility, then his Glade Riders will be able to operate with relative impunity here. We've also got a handful of lost Sylvan Knights. Not lost. In fact, they are found, and will be joining the battle shortly. Demogryph Knights here. Very nice bombardment placement from Orion there. Nope. Looks like he actually casted it over there instead. That's a little odd. Must have misclicked it there. But the Soulfire Bombardment does break those Dryads. It helps to break those Glade Riders also. Spearmen doing a great job kind of pressuring them away. But the Demogryph Knights kind of get caught out here, and I have to screen out with some more Pistoliers to try and keep them from getting completely slaughtered, and that then results in the Pistoliers getting completely slaughtered. Again, go figure. It's me playing Pistoliers. But, yeah, the Sunmaker already been shut down, so really the kind of forest effect here didn't really come into play too much, just because Turin was able to break through so effectively and get onto them. I really didn't have good protection there as well. But, yeah, Demigryph Knights coming back from out. I'm feeling pretty good about things. Turin's army's looking pretty thin. These handful of Sylvan Knights do come back and help break the Demis, though. You can see VOLKMAR comes in, terrifies away some of the Glade Riders. Unfortunately, though, the Warrior Priest just getting wrecked by Orion here. I think he maybe gets actually killed. Orion will fire a lot more effectively now. I think he was just throwing at that one particular archer there, but looks like he's still going to be going in melee. Keep in mind, Orion can shoot on the move now, though, so he might throw a spear or two while he's chasing if he's set to fire at will. Let's see. Let's see if we can see Orion tossing his spear on the move. Yep. Did a little huck there. I don't know if it actually worked, though. I didn't see where the projectile went. There it is. Okay. Blows up a handful of spearmen. You can see the Zolts are back. They're kind of pressuring, or not pressuring, getting pressured by VOLKMAR, but we're going to maybe fast forward slightly through this late game cleanup. You can see a single lost Sylvan Knight comes back here with Orion to help chase away those swordsmen. Other swordsmen get terrified. Deepwood Scouts are now protected. They can keep firing at these nasty state troops. Another fireball comes in. And we missed that one last Sylvan Knight. Wanted to just snipe him out with the fireball, but yeah, I guess he's too cool for that. We're going to go ahead and drop a banishment in this pocket here. See if we can't grab some of these Deepwood Scouts, finish off that last Sylvan Knight turn, of course. Going to try and dodge that. Got the Zolts coming back. Got a handful of shots left on these Deepwood Scouts here, so we are going to fast forward somewhat, as it will be a bit of a long kind of cleanup phase for me, or attempted cleanup at least. My one issue here is that I really don't have anything that can deal a lot of damage to Orion, other than like cycle charging him with VOLKMAR, which I can try and do, but since Orion's mass is better and he's also just as fast as VOLKMAR, I'm not going to be able to bully him. I guess he's actually faster than VOLKMAR. I'm not going to be able to bully him like I would used to be able to in previous patches. Like in previous patches, I really wouldn't be as worried, because Orion, like I can knock him over, I could at least knock him over consistently with VOLKMAR by cycle charging him and, you know, keeping him inundated with state troops. He's not going to be able to pull out of them very effectively. He still is going to potentially struggle to pull out of them if he does get fully surrounded, but he won't get knocked over by VOLKMAR, right? Orion won't, so he's going to be able to actually punch back here in a situation where previously he couldn't. It's still going to be very, very close, though, considering all the state troops here supporting. They kind of rout, come back. Well, that one healthy-ish spearman kind of gets devoured. Another healthy-ish spearman here comes in. Going to get a good surround, get some good damage in, try and finish off those Deepwood Scouts. They're kind of over-pursuing a little bit, though. I really need them to be bopping Orion. You can see Orion's very close to his healing cap at this point. VOLKMAR is too, though, quickly approaching his healing cap, and as I'm trying to kind of circle around and get at that Branch Wraith, get at the Glade Riders, honestly, it probably should have just been staying focused on Orion the whole time, but we still might be able to finish him off. It all kind of comes down to RNG at the end, more or less, not all RNG. Orion certainly has, in a sustained, prolonged fight, certainly has a pretty distinct advantage over VOLKMAR, there's no question. But, yeah, it's down to 700... 800 HP, still regenerating a tiny bit there. VOLKMAR also still regenerating a tiny bit. These Glade Riders come in. I'm going to try and get a clutch rear charge. I try and brace up in time, but unfortunately I'm not able to get faced in the right direction and get braced. We do pop a Hammer of Sigmar there. The Spearmen, you can see, though, unfortunately, like, not that many of them are actually in base contact with Orion, because VOLKMAR's kind of been pushing him a little bit there. And then they get terrified anyway, so, you know, sometimes things just don't go the way you expect. And I have to say, the end of this battle, I was feeling pretty confident up until a point, and then I realized, like, oh crap, I don't think I'm going to be able to kill Orion. Like, I think he'll probably just kill VOLKMAR at this point. I mean, it's pretty clear now, even with my buffs kind of being dropped. I'm going to drop the Soulfire Bombardment. Hammer of Sigmar been popped on the Spearmen with shields. They're going to come in here. You see, they do get some little chip damage here and there. They're not making super solid, consistent contact, but they are doing a tiny bit. But if VOLKMAR goes down, then that's all over, and VOLKMAR does indeed go down. RNG favoring Turin, which, to be fair, it was stacked in his favor because of the numbers, but still only 141 HP on Orion, and you know if Orion dies here, that Branch Wraith just routs, right? So, what a game, man. Probably one of the closest games I've played in quite a while, and a super close game. just in general, very, very awesome. So, like I said, no specific unit highlight this time. The Zotes, I thought about making them the highlight of this video, but they really didn't pay for themselves. I believe Turin actually accidentally miscasted. The regrowth was intended from them for the Sylvan Knights. I want to say he casted it onto Dryads by accident. I guess he can correct me in the comments below, or if he ends up casting this one himself. But look at Orion here. Look at Orion. 6,000 damage value, basically. 6,000 damage value. That is insane. That has to be one of the most highest damage values of anything I've seen in this entire... That's literally like half of my army, right? Almost half of my army cost was killed by Orion individually. Absolutely insane, man. Orion, I think, might need some cost increases. We'll see. He's going to be insane in the next patch because he actually can do what he's supposed to do, which is kill literally everything. Yeah, Branch Wraith did okay. Basically, nothing else in Turn's army except Glade Riders probably, and they didn't even pay for themselves. Sylvan Knights didn't pay for them. Well, I guess they did actually pay for themselves. Wow, 2,300 points worth of value. So they definitely paid for themselves despite getting pretty well hit by Volkmar there. I guess a lot of that comes from shutting down the Sunmaker. Zotes didn't pay for themselves. Deepwood Scouts kind of did, kind of didn't. But, man, Orion just carrying that game super hard. For me, Volkmar, you can see his OP-ness in quotations as well. 4,424 damage, not to mention the support abilities he's giving out. A Bright Wizard also definitely paid for himself. This guy, just in terms of his own damage output, like kind of half paid for himself, and the buffs definitely would contribute to the other half, I would say. Spearmen with shields punching up very well, way above their weight, which is what you would expect of state troops. With the buffs especially, same thing with the swordsmen. Sigmar Sons also definitely paying for themselves. Archers, man, 945, 947 damage value from archers. I'm really warming up to like super cheap ranged units, just because they have the opportunity, especially against lower armor factions, to generate insane value for their cost. And the archers definitely showed that here. Demigryph Knights also paying for themselves, almost. Not quite, but Pistoliers, again, pretty much paying for themselves. The Sunmaker was the biggest letdown for me, for sure. It was such a close battle, man. I really can't be mad about that. So big thanks to Turin. Shout out to him, of course. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching this one. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.